Hello, everybody. Welcome to another KMU Live Podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Jabruggi, and joining me again this week, Derek. You back in the chair. How you doing, Derek?
Back in the chair. Yeah, Stephanie had a good time. She might be back next week. She's had a pretty busy week, so she's taking the night off, man.
Okay. Well, can't say I blame her
She
there.
likes all your friends though. She likes your chatters and your
Good
she
deal.
enjoys all your regulars. Speaking of which,
Cool.
regulars, anybody who's tuning in now, or if you're watching the replay somewhere, let us know where you're watching from. Try not to be too
Yeah.
specific, don't say your street or anything, but let us know where you're watching from.
Yeah. Shout her out loud.
Any news in the missing and unsolved world this week, Rick?
Just been trying to keep up with that Nancy Guthrie case down in Phoenix or Tucson down there. They submitted a glove they found for DNA testing, and it said it didn't match DNA found in the home. So they're submitting it for genealogy testing down there. So we'll see what that gets them anywhere or not.
The only thing I've been kind of paying attention to it. I'm pretty checked out. Esther Unruh's watching from Greensburg. Christopher's in the house. The only thing I saw was the family was reading something on the television, and it was like lines from the movie Silence of the Lamb or something.
I saw that.
Did you think what did you think that was? Some weird coincidence? Or you think that maybe the captor wanted them to say that on TV as like some kind of code or something? Or what did you make of that whole?
I thought it was interesting. I mean, yeah, I saw it yesterday. It said it was quoted word for word from the movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, wonder what the purpose behind that is.
I thought that was very
it could
odd.
be. It could be like you're saying, it could be like a message directly to the killer, something they wanted them to communicate with them directly or something possibly.
Yeah, not sure. I thought that was pretty weird. But
shades of Dennis Rader in a way, because he, when he wanted to find out if a disc could be traced or not, he told him to put a message in the paper saying something about it'll be okay, Rex, and he did, or they did, and he sent the disc and got arrested and all that good stuff. So but it kind of reminds me of that in a way.
Yeah, it's to me like I've been seeing like TMZ like shared a thing today saying like there's new developments in this case and the media. It's like eerily involving the media at this point. With to me like who she is and who her daughter is kind of points me into the fact that this whole thing was a whole. Like whoever the captors are, like they were very well aware who this lady was, and they are using this as a way to get the media to talk about them and maybe have people say certain things on the air. It's kind of weird, man.
Yeah, they said they've found several of those nitrile gloves in different locations over the last, I guess, week or so, and which nitrile glove they were kind of really. Somebody was kind of speculating about, well, that could mean this profession, this profession, this profession, this profession, but the place I work at, you can buy nitrile gloves by the case, and it's just a do-it-yourself store. Yeah. So it's a hardware do-it-yourself, and you can buy nitrile gloves there all day long. So I mean, you can think this profession, this profession, this profession, but when you can get them in an everyday store, I mean, it kind of steers away from that in my mind a little bit. But I guess you got to keep every avenue open, though.
I'm a big Ellen Dotson watching from Leavenworth, Kansas. Thank you for tuning in. Well, that's a pretty high profile missing persons case.
It is.
To me, like, again, I haven't followed it super close, but to me, like, I don't think you can assume that like she's just like doing fine somewhere, with like it's not good, man. It's very.
I did see where President Trump, I guess, made a statement about it, saying that if anything happened to Nancy Guthrie, that they would be prosecuted basically to the fullest extent. And when asked if that included the death penalty, he said, "Yeah, definitely." So whoever's got her, I don't know. They could be getting themselves in a real big situation. If he's willing to put the death penalty out there on him, which I could see that.
Yeah, not good. Well, we'll go ahead and get the show started. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved Live Podcast. We start the show out each week. We typically try to do 3 segments. We do cold cases. We will talk about some missing teens in the state of Kansas, and then we also cover a few out-of-state cases. If you have any flyers that you're not seeing on Ricky's Facebook page, or you're not seeing on this show that you would like to see, please contact Ricky at any of the channels you're watching from. They're all his channels. You can send them a direct message there, and he will get a flyer made, and we will get it on the show and in rotation. And
Definitely.
we're going to start the show off with Lori Heimer. And this
Yeah.
is one right outside of Salina where Ricky's broadcasting from.
Yeah, it's been an interesting day because I loaded the cases in the show, and then it's like, oh, that one's been found. That one's been found. Got to take them right back out. So been a busy day, and then I had to come up with some other ones to replace those with, which wasn't too hard to do. So yeah, it's been a busy day for me. This is Lori Heimer. She was brutally stabbed to death in her rural Surrey, Kansas home on June 25th, 2016. She ran her business, Lori's Poodle Patch, from her home. She was a licensed breeder of miniature-sized poodles and was licensed through the state of Kansas. The KBI was contacted to assist Saline County sheriffs in the investigation. They responded with agents and their crime scene response team. During the investigation, 2 vehicles of interest were developed. Vehicle 1 was said to be an older flatbed pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet, which is described as beat up, maroon in color with a white front bumper, silver grille, and wide-style side mirrors. Driver was described as a man who was 50 years of age or older with salt and pepper hair. Vehicle number 2 was an older style small pickup truck, possibly a Chevrolet S10, with a 2-tone paint job, dark blue on the top and the bottom with light blue in the middle, silverback bumper, a newer blue tailgate that appeared to have minimal damage when compared to the body of the truck. The remainder of the vehicle is described as beat up and scratched up. There may be 2 small animal cages or crates in the back. The driver of the second vehicle was described as a white male, approximately 40 years of age, with shoulder-length hair and wearing glasses. Investigators have said they would like to locate these 2 vehicles. They would also like to speak to anyone that had any contact or business appointment with Lori at any time between June 20th and 25th. If you have any information regarding the homicide of Lori Heimer, please call the Saline County Sheriff's Office at 785-826-6500 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. And there is a reward of $37,500 being offered for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Lori's murder. So again, if you have any information at all, no matter how small you think it might be, insignificant you might be, unimportant you think it might be, call it in anyway and let the investigator sort through it and see if it's something that they actually might need to get them moving forward in the investigation. I mean, here we are, 10 years out almost, be 10 years in June. So let's see what we can do to help get some justice for Lori and her family.
There's never been any kind of like, I know in like I think it was 2016, they that was when they first talked about the trucks that were like of interest. Has there never been like any follow-ups to those stories? Like
not that I have seen. I've combed through all kinds of articles, and they have just kind of just rehashed the same information pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, they've done anniversary pieces from time to time, and even in those, they say no new developments and stuff like that.
Yeah. Ongoing investigation. And then that reward's like around upper $30,000 reward, right?
37,500. Yeah.
Yeah, 3750. Yeah, it's
and I had a Kansas Missing and Unsolved table set up at some of their fundraisers that they did to raise that money, and I went to the vigil that they had for Lori out in this area and stuff like that. So I was out there.
There's a documentary on, if you're watching this show on Ricky's YouTube channel, there's a documentary on there that me and him made together in May. But this is one of the cases Ricky drove me to not all, but pretty much a large portion of the Salina and surrounding area cases that, he covers personally, and we've covered on this show multiple times. Some of the houses we did not really get close enough to film due to, respect out of current owners and stuff. But a lot of the houses we were able to go up and, kind of get a shot. Yeah. And this was one that I've said it a bunch on the show, but like we drove to a lot of places that day, and Salina's a pretty big town for Kansas,
Mhm.
and it took a little while, but pretty much all of the crime scenes that we went to, it didn't take very long to get there. Even the Catherine Adams, we went on the journey of all of the places where she was known to be the morning she perished or the morning she disappeared. And I think altogether it took us like maybe 11 minutes to do the whole
Yeah.
drive. So, but I remember going to this scene, and that was a trip. So to me,
Yeah.
that always stood out, like how out of the way Lori Heimer's
Yeah.
residence was. It's like to me, just as like just a somebody who's just a guy that just read about it on the internet. To me, I'm just like, it seems like you'd have to know where that house was to find it
Right.
almost.
Well, I tell you what, her reel, I put that reel up that you made of her for her the other day, and I mean,
Yeah.
last time I looked, it was well over 1,000 views,
Wow.
and I was like, wow. Someone put I've been periodically putting reels up there. I need to put a couple more. I've been busy with the
I'll make you
flyers
some
and
more
end of it,
too.
but yeah, because I'll get some more up and
Off
going
the
because they
air, well,
seem
I
to
can
be
tell you
doing
now,
well.
you can pretty much you don't have to wait for the broadcast. You know how to do it. Just set up a little studio here, and if you have a new flyer, go in there, record it real quick, send me a
Hmm.
text, and I'll go in there and grab it, and I can get you a reel in
Cool,
20-30 minutes.
cool.
So yeah, I do think that it's good that the KMU Facebook page and all your places you are utilizing reels now, because I think a lot of people they don't really scroll Facebook like it was meant to. You just scroll it and see what happens. A lot of people just go straight to the video section where the
Right,
reels are. You have
and I need to read.
again, like yeah, with your content you're doing, like, it's literally just the flyer and then you reading the flyer, and that's exactly what it needs to be. It's just basically another version of your work, and I think it's really important that it's getting out there.
Yeah,
Speaking of, it's important of Ricky's work getting out there. If you're one of the people watching the show, I got my live stream open over here on YouTube. If you're watching on Ricky's channels, uh, please share the show to a friend. Tell them we are trying to locate as many people here in the state of Kansas. And shout out
yeah,
to Queenie, who is in the chat.
yeah.
Tell us
Queenie,
about
how you
Haley
doing?
Davis.
Yeah. And I also did launch a TikTok also as well, and I put a link to it. It's I'll have to reshare it to get it back up to the top, but I did share it on KMU Facebook, so
Nice.
it is on there. And again, this is Haley Davis. She's missing from Salina, Kansas since July 21st, 2023. Coming up on 3 years here pretty soon. She was 19 when she was missing. She would now be 21, 5'6" to 5'7". Weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. She left Salina, Kansas with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st, 2023. Wichita police say the investigation has led them to believe that Haley may be deceased. Again, when she went missing, she was 19. She'd now be 21, 5'6" to 5'7". Weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. You have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts or the location of her remains, please call Detective Owen at 316-268-4185, or you can email aowen@wichita.gov. To remain anonymous, please contact Crime Stoppers at 316-267-2111, or KBI at 785-296-4017, or 1-800-572-7463. Or you can scan that little QR code down there in the Crime Stoppers banner, and that'll take you to a form on the Crime Stoppers website. And you can submit your information anonymously that way as well, and see what we can do to get Haley located and back to where she needs to be. As I know her family's still looking for her and wants to bring her home.
You always hate whenever the police start mentioning, like, potential, like, homicide is believed to be the case,
Yeah.
or maybe she's no longer living. That's
Right.
you got to wonder, like, you're a family member, like, and then some of these, like, again, like, I'm gonna bring him up because I feel like he was such a part of this show until there was resolution. But Kenny Wrightcheck, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's I'm still curious. Has there ever been any type of service for Kenny?
No,
Or
not at all. Not at
that would
all.
be something I would like if there hasn't yet at this point. That would be
Hmm.
something that I would like to throw my hat in to try to facilitate and plan because,
Yeah.
um, to me, that's just, I never met Kenny. We covered him on this show for years, and
Yeah.
then you find out that, they found him, but he's deceased. But even I think that even when you find out somebody's deceased, when there's been, like, that many years of not knowing what the heck's going on with this person, like, even that can
Yeah.
be kind of a good news. At least you know that, like, they're not somewhere suffering, like, they're just, at the
Right.
afterlife, whatever that may be. So I think that bad news can sometimes be like a form of good news when you're dealing in this world. At least
Right.
at least you can stop wondering what happened to this person.
Yeah. Sad thing is, they only found part of a skull and one other bone. And that's all they ever found.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully, yeah, the service does need to be put together, though. It's been was it been a year or two now since he was found, I think. So,
It's
yeah,
been
we
a
need to
little
do
while.
something. We need to do something.
Yeah.
This was one that I was just reached out to, and I actually had a flyer made for, but she was asking me what I would need to have to make a flyer. And at the time, she didn't give me a name or anything, so I told her what I needed, and she sent me the pictures and stuff. And I was like, I thinking to myself, I made a flyer for her, and I found it and sent it to her, and she was really appreciative that I had one made and had been sharing it as long as I've been sharing it. I've been sharing it for probably 3 years or better now. But this is Tammy K. Cochran. This is back on March 5th of 2008. Tammy Cochran's body was discovered badly burned on the property of the Olathe Water Treatment Facility at 8255 South Gardner Road near DeSoto, Kansas on March 5th, 2008. Investigators believe Tammy was killed at another location and brought to the area near the boat ramp and water treatment facility. They also believe that the person or persons responsible had some prior knowledge of the location. Last time Tammy was seen alive was on surveillance video from a BP gas station near Independence Avenue and Van Brunt Boulevard on February 29, 2008. There's two still shots are from that footage. If you have any information regarding Tammy's death, please call the Olathe, Kansas Police Department at 913-971-6728 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477. And there is up to an $18,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest of the person or persons responsible for Tammy's death. Or you can also scan that Say It Here QR code down there at the bottom there, and that'll take you to the form on their website, and you can submit your information anonymously that way. So let's see what we can do to get some justice for Tammy and her family and friends. Kind of a bad one there.
Yeah.
Her body was burned.
Jeez.
So
Well,
makes me wonder some things. I mean, was she dead before they burned her? Or,
yeah,
I mean, you have to wonder.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but you do.
Yeah. Let me fix it. Look on that back on the Kenny Wright check thing. Like, I was curious if there was even like, does he have a grave? And then
I don't know.
so I googled it, and like, there's no public record of him having a grave or a memorial or a grave site, but it said that Kenny, all they kind of what you said, all they found was like a few pieces of Kenny's skull, his body. So I think that there could be a possibility that maybe, and I don't know, I'm just kind of speculating, but maybe Kenny's remains would be in a position where maybe they're not released yet. Because I mean, I think like you might
Could be.
have to do an investigation if that's all you find of somebody's body. Like you might want.
Right.
I mean, you might have to look into that. Like, how did this person end up? And obviously, you can think of like animals get into remains sometimes, stuff. But
Right.
how did he perish? So maybe that's. But I would like to know. I'd at least like to visit the guy's grave.
Right. I know they said they found a dilapidated tent in the area that looked like it had been there for quite some time, which would fit the time frame of him being there. And I mean, we know he was last at the Gospel Mission and had some kind of a altercation or disagreement or something with somebody staying there, so he left and never been seen or heard from again. So I'm guessing he must have pitched a tent by the railroad tracks in the area where his remains were found. And imagine being that it was cold, he may have succumbed to the elements, and eventually animals got to him and dragged him all over, I'm sure. Hate to say that, but it's a bad deal and a very sad way to go.
Not good.
No, get sad every time I think about it.
Yeah.
I need to check for updates on this case, but this was just over this last weekend. This was Silas Ebony. This is February 15th, Kansas City, Missouri. Police officers were called to the Status nightclub located at the corner of Southwest Boulevard and 28th Street in Kansas City, Missouri. Officers arriving at the scene found 3 adult women suffering from gunshot wounds. 29-year-old Ebony Silas was pronounced dead at the scene inside the bar. 2 others were taken to the hospital. 24-year-old Tashana Ballard died later from her injuries. A 4th victim, an adult male, arrived at the hospital separately with gunshot wounds. Preliminary information indicates the victims had an interaction inside the bar that led to shots being fired. And I know the police are trying to figure out how the guns got in the bar in the first place. The police are asking anyone who has not spoken with officers but was at the business at the time of the shooting to call Kansas City, Missouri police detectives at 816-234-5043, or you can call Crime Stoppers at 816-474-8477 anonymously. Where again, you can scan the Say It Here QR code and it'll take you to the form on the website and you can submit information that way. And so we can do to help get this figured out and get some justice for Ebony and the other victims. And I have another flyer for the second lady that died in that shooting as well coming up. Tashana Ballard. And basically the flyer is going to read the same. Kansas City, Missouri police officers were called to the Status nightclub located at the corner of Southwest Boulevard and 28th Street in Kansas City, Missouri. Again, officers arriving at the scene found 3 adult women suffering from gunshot wounds. 29-year-old Ebony Silas was pronounced dead inside the bar. 2 others were taken to a hospital. The 24-year-old Tashana Ballard, she died from her injuries later. 4th victim, adult male, arrived at the hospital separately with gunshot wounds, and last I heard on him, he was in critical condition still. Preliminary information indicates the victims had an interaction inside the bar that led to shots being fired. And again, police are asking for anyone who's not spoken with the officers but was at the business at the time of the shooting to call Kansas City, Missouri police detectives at 816-234-5043 or submit an anonymous tip via 816-474-8477, which is Crime Stoppers. You can also scan the QR code there and it'll take you to the form on the website. You can fill out your information anonymously that way and submit it. And see what we can do again to try to help get this sorted out and get some justice for these victims and their families.
Yikes.
Yeah. This is one that I did this morning. Took me a while to get it done because they were having issues getting the missing persons report filed for her. They went to Leavenworth Police Department and they referred them to Kansas City, Kansas Police Department because they said the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department was better equipped to help them with this case. But Megan, I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. I'm going to say Bylea. I hope I said that right. Missing since February 9th, 2026. She's 25, 5'6", 145 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. It's believed that she may be in danger. Family fears that she is being trafficked. And she's 25, 5'6", 145 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She has a tattoo of a baby foot on her left arm and a Disney sleeve on her right arm. Tattoos that says real on her right forearm and a dream catcher on her right thigh. If you have any information regarding Megan's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, 913-596-3000. Or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Megan located and back to where she needs to be. They fear she's being trafficked because of information they have received indicating that that may be the case. So,
is Leavenworth where the prison is?
Do I know?
Is Leavenworth where the prison is?
Yeah, there's a prison there in Leavenworth. Yeah.
Okay. I always think about that when I think about Leavenworth. I remember like Leavenworth prison or something like that. That's I think it's like maybe even military related or something.
Yeah. Hopefully she's okay and we can get her found. Let's hope.
Yeah.
And I did a couple more unidentifieds today. was going to try to get it. I was trying to do another one, but there was too many photos with clay reconstructions, and I want to try to use as many as I can for it. But this is the Ford County, Kansas John Doe from 2004. Date of discovery was May 14th, 2004, Ford County, Kansas. Estimated date of death was 2003, 2004. State of remains not recognizable, decomposing, putrefaction, which I'm not sure what that is exactly. Physical description, estimated age between 44 and 58. Race, Hispanic or white. Male, 5'6" to 5'10", 160 to 200 pounds, black hair. Unknown on the eye color. Distinguishing marks, features, heel fracture to the right fibula, 1/3 of the way below the knee. Identifiers, dentals are available. There was no distinctive dental restoration. Fingerprints are available. DNA not yet available. Clothing and personal items, dark cap, large t-shirt, black leather jacket with a silver zipper on the sleeves. Black Solo Seymour pants, size 36. Fruit of the Loom boxers, size large. Steel toe Brahma lace-up boot, size 9.5, triple E wide. Jewelry unknown. Additional personal items unknown. The victim was found with major head trauma in Ford County. If you have any information that may help identify this gentleman, you can call the Dodge City Police Department at 620-225-8126. Or KBI, you can dial 785-296-8200 and give them the information that you may have that may help identify this gentleman so we can get his name back and get him back to his family. And Rachel Moore says, thank you for everything you're doing for my daughter. You're very welcome, Rachel. And I do have Jasmine's flyer loaded for the show tonight, so we'll be covering her in a little bit. And this is another Kansas City, Kansas John Doe from back in 2016. And let's see. Date of discovery, April 6, 2016, Kansas City, Wyandotte County, Kansas. Estimated date of death was a year prior to discovery. State of remains not recognizable, near complete or complete skeleton, cause of death unknown. Physical description, white male, estimated to be 20 to 30 years old, 6 foot tall, unknown on the weight. Hair color and eye color, distinguishing feature or marks unknown. Identifiers, no dentals, fingerprints, or DNA. Clothing, none. The only they have this puka shell necklace with a shark tooth, which you can see in the photo there. Mushroom hunters found a human skull and other bones on the south bank of the Missouri River near I-45 and Wolcott Drive. If you have any information that might help identify this gentleman, you can call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-288-7248 or 913-596-3000 and let them know what you may know regarding this John Doe to help get him identified and get his name back and back to his family.
Well, I wonder how many John Doe cases there are in this country.
A bunch. I've been looking at John Doe a little bit doing these Kansas cases, and there are a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah. More than there should be, I would think. And this one's Jasmine Moore. And again, we had Rachel Moore in the comments, which is her mother. And I know her mom has been down in Wichita. She has to drive up from close to Kansas City down to Wichita, but she's been making the drive to post flyers, hand out flyers, and that kind of thing. But Jasmine's been missing from Wichita, Kansas since February 12, 2026. She's 16, 5'6" to 5'7", 150 pounds, brown hair that was last known to be dyed black and red, black on one side, red on the other, and brown eyes. She's not familiar with the Wichita area and may be scared or disoriented. She does not have a cell phone. And again, she's 16, 5'6" to 5'7", weighs 150 pounds. She has brown hair, last known to be dyed black on one side, red on the other, and brown eyes. She may be wearing a plain navy blue or black shirt. I know Wichita police defined it more like a tank top and Hello Kitty sweatpants, similar to the photo above up there. And if you have any information regarding Jasmine's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-263-6011. Or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017. See what we can do to get Jasmine located and back home to where she needs to be. Rachel, if you're still watching, do you have any updates or anything on Jasmine? Any luck, any leads, anything like that? See if she answers. Like I said, I know she's been up in Wichita handing this flyer out, posting it around town. I gave her some places, gave her some ideas for places where to post it, as far as like, the bus depot, the airport, gas stations, the mall, any high traffic areas that would see it, So as far as Walmart goes, Walmart's pretty stringent on, they really only do flyers for National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. I had an experience with our Walmart here in town when an adult male went missing, and I did a flyer for him, and I ran one out to Walmart to see if they would post it for me, and they were, oh, we only do National Center for Missing and Exploited Children's flyers, but we'll find somewhere to put it. I never did see it anywhere in the store. So I said, you might be able to at least catch people as they're coming and going out the door and hand them to them and ask them to keep an eye open. But as far as Walmart actually posting them, unless they come from National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, don't know. But
what is it? Do you know what it takes to get onto the National Missing Exploited Children? Like, is that just
I don't know if families have to make that contact or if law enforcement has to do that. I don't have to research that a little bit. I've heard that they work with families, but I also know they work with law enforcement, so I don't know.
I'd be curious to know.
Let's see if they've got Jasmine on National Center yet. I'm going to look real quick here.
Yeah, check that out, because I was curious. Like, I just kind of figured they just automatically went on there if they were missing.
Yeah. I'm just curious. See if they've got her on there yet. Although I can tell you, and I'm not gonna toot my own horn or nothing, but I started getting contacted to do kids that are missing that are in the system, because I was told that I can get the flyers out a lot quicker than what National Center does, which I understand, because they're a national level. They're dealing with the whole country, where I'm just, dealing with one state. So I can understand that. So, but
but I think it's also pretty impressive that you have a full-time job and you're a dad and you do this. This is like a hobby for you. I think you do pretty good coverage. But I would also be the first to admit that I think you make a ton of flyers, but you're barely scratching the surface as far as like missing people in the state of Kansas. There's so many. It would take you plus a team of a lot of people to get every single missing person into the public eye. It's a lot of missing people. They
don't have her on NCMEC yet, National Center yet. She's not on there. Yeah.
Well, I wonder what that process is. Whatever it is, somebody should try to get it going.
Yeah. Yeah, Rich, they might give them a call and see if they can help you get her on their website too.
Yeah. I'd be interested to know what the protocol is to get somebody on that website.
All right. And this one's Jaylee Jackson. Missing from Topeka, Kansas since February 7th, 2026. 17, 5 foot 600 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Her ears are pierced. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Jaylee's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9200, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see what we can do to get Jaylee located and back to where she needs to be. If you could do me a favor and make me a reel of Jasmine's flyer, that would be good.
Okay.
Because I will post that reel too.
Awesome. I do that.
And this is Travis Hutton the third, which he tends to go missing from Wichita quite a bit. He's missing from Wichita, Kansas since February 14th, 2026. He's 13, 5'2", 110 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last seen in the area of the 1100 block of North Madison in Wichita. He's 13, 5'2", 110 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Last seen wearing a black shirt, black jacket, gray sweats, and carrying 2 large white bags. If you have any information regarding Travis's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Travis located and back to where he needs to be.
Valentine's Day. That's not good.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this is one I thought I'd get back in the lineup. I haven't talked about this young lady for some time, but she is still missing. Maylin Solberg Ingram, missing from Wichita, Kansas since January 21st, 2026. She's 16, 4'10", 150 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Her nostrils are pierced, or her one nostril's pierced, the left one there. If you have any information regarding Maylin's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-263-6011 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Maylin located and back to where she needs to be. And I had to reword Wichita's flyers for the juveniles a little bit by adding the please call 911 immediately. I was asked to do that. By a detective down there, actually. Asked me if I could gear it to say 911. That way they could get the information out faster and go check on potential whereabouts and stuff. So,
yeah.
We got a lot of missing kids down there. It's crazy. Yeah. Let's see here. There she is. This is Rylan Emma Torres, missing from Kansas City, Kansas since February 14, 2026. She's 16, 5'3", weighs between 120 and 140 pounds, black hair. There was last night to be wearing a brown straight wig and brown eyes. Rylan is a transgender female known by the name Emma. Again, Emma is 16, 5'3", 120 to 140 pounds. She has black hair, was last known to be wearing a brown straight wig and brown eyes. Emma has a tattoo of a small heart on the inside of her left forearm, tattoo of a smiley face with X's for eyes on her right forearm, tattoo of the letter P on her left thigh. If you have any information regarding Emma's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Emma located and back to where she needs to be. And yes, we've covered her on the show before. And this is Nasiah Yahweh. Hope I said that correctly. Missing from Wichita, Kansas since December 19th, 2025. She's 14, 5'1", 140 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. It's believed she may be with a 35-year-old adult male, which is not a good thing. Again, Nasiah is 14 years old, 5'1", 140 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Nasiah's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Nasiah located and back to where she needs to be instead of being with a 35-year-old.
That is not good at all. That is not
good
information.
Mm-mm.
Out-of-state cases.
Yep. Excuse me. This is Jeremiah Demetrius Moneta, missing from Ponca City, Oklahoma since January 17th, 2025. So a little over a year now. He was 22 when he went missing. Is now 23, 5'9", 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He had just recently moved to Ponca City from Kansas City, Missouri, before he went missing. His bank account's not been touched, and his apartment showed no signs of disturbance. Jeremiah's cell phone was found in someone else's possession, and his asthma inhaler that his family says he never leaves behind was found on a stranger's porch. Again, when he went missing, he was 22. He's now 23. 5'9", weighs 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He does have facial hair and a Playboy Bunny tattoo on his shoulder blade. Last seen wearing a Kansas City Chiefs hoodie, jeans, and work boots. I'm assuming that's the hoodie, the Kansas City Chiefs hoodie on the far right-hand photo there. If you have any information regarding Jeremiah's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Ponca City, Oklahoma Police Department at 580-767-0370, or you can call the anonymous tip line 580-762-5100, or you can text PCPD plus your message to crimes 274-637 from your cell phone, or you can email any information you have to crimestoppers@poncacityoK.gov and see what we can do to get Jeremiah located and back to where he needs to be. Again, it's been a little over a year now, which is very concerning considering somebody else had a cell phone and his inhaler that family says he never leaves behind was on a stranger's porch. So,
not good.
No, very concerning.
I've never been to Ponca City, but it sounds like it's a pretty decent sizable spot.
No, it's a very concerning case.
Yeah.
And Dana Bruce, another one we cover pretty much every week. Missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. 23 when she went missing. She's now 40, 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. Last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that night so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the remainder of the night. Dana was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model. Originally was thought to be a red Ford F-150. Turns out it was a green Ford F-150. Earlier on the night of her disappearance, she left with the man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. Told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, she was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 40. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends, with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their other numbers 866-362-6422, or you can call Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070 and see what we can do to help get Dana located and back to where she needs to be.
Sad, man. It's a long time.
Yeah, it is. Very long time. Yes, Andrew Nicholas France. He is missing from Sedalia, Missouri as well since April 20th, 2023. Was 31 when he went missing, is now 33, 5'11", 175 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. He left that day from a Sedalia, Missouri residence he'd been staying, driving a white 2019 Ford Escape with Florida license plate number AV13NF. Later in the day at 4:26 p.m., he got a traffic citation from police in Kansas City, Missouri. He's never been heard from again. On April 24th, 2023, his vehicle was found in a Taco Bell parking lot in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, and towed, but there was no sign of him at the scene. His wallet and 2 important hoodies were missing from his vehicle. Since his disappearance, there's been no activity on his food stamp card or social media accounts. He has a tattoo on his neck of a mountain scene and a bighorn sheep in black and gray ink. A tattoo of an angel in black ink on his left shoulder. Tattoos of writing on both forearms and tattoos on his hands. You can see photos of some of them down there at the bottom there. He was last known to be wearing a blue T-shirt with an American flag, blue jeans, dark gray Skechers shoes, and a baseball cap. If you have any information regarding Andrew's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Excelsior Springs, Missouri Police Department at 816-630-2000 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422 and see what we can do to get Andrew located and back to where he needs to be, because we're coming up on 3 years or pretty soon.
Jeez.
Yeah. 3 years. Not near as long as Dana by any stretch, but still 3 years is too long too.
Yeah, you don't want it to hit like that milestone.
Right. Found his vehicle, but not him, which I thought was interesting. We were talking about Nancy at the top of the show.
Yeah.
I thought we'd go over her flyer again real quick here.
Yeah,
Nancy Guthrie is missing from Tucson, Arizona since January 31st, 2026. She's 84, 5'5", 150 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. She was last seen at her residence near East Skyline Drive and North Campbell Avenue in Tucson. She is without her meds, and it's been reported that if she does not take them within 24 hours, it could be fatal. And we're going on 3 weeks, or we're in the 3rd week, or so, I believe. Authorities have disclosed they believe that she may have been abducted. They also believe that there is a vehicle involved, although there's been no vehicle description available of one. We kind of talked about last week a little bit. There is footage from a surveillance camera that they were able to retrieve off the front of her house, and it shows a masked individual. Looks like he's got a gun down on the front center part of his waist, messing around with the camera and stuff. You can see him hold his hand up and kind of block the camera a little bit, and then a little bit later he's picking something up off the ground and trying to put it in front of the camera. And it's kind of interesting. I still have the still shots loaded in there, and the video clips for that matter. Again, Nancy's 84. She's 5'5", 150 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. She is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, who's one of the co-hosts of the NBC Today show. Authorities are requesting any video or photographic information be submitted for evaluation and analysis of evidentiary value in Nancy's disappearance. If you have any information regarding Nancy's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Pima County, Arizona Sheriff's Office at 520-351-4900, or you can scan that QR code there next to the sheriff's badge and submit information that way. And I had on here, there's a reward of up to $2,500, which was the case when I made the flyer, and I need to update it because last I saw the reward is now up to $100,000, and then I saw another private donor has put some money in there, so I need to see exactly where the reward stands now. But if you have any information on her case, please get that in there as well and see if we can't help get Nancy brought home. As you were alluding to at the top of the show, Savannah did put out that video where she basically quoted a movie word for word, line for line. And I can't remember what the context of those lines were now, but I've seen the video and stuff like that. Talking about doing the right thing and this and that. And I didn't realize at the time when I first watched it, it had anything to do with the movie. And then I saw this morning that somebody had made mention of that movie and how it copied those lines word for word, which I thought was interesting. And we were talking about top of the show too, possibly maybe being a direct communication to whoever may have her at that person's request, possibly. Don't know.
I think a lot of people were trying to make it seem like, oh, the family's saying this weird stuff. They're in on some weird conspiracy. But to me, it just seemed like, yeah, like I just read some weirdo typing like a ransom note, like, and make sure you say this exactly, or we'll do. It just seemed like some weirdo that's watched Silence, or somebody that's trying to make themselves look like a weirdo who watched Silence of the Lambs and now has done something crazy. You know, it's like it seemed a little odd to put that in there.
Yeah. But yeah, I need to find out what the exact reward amount is now, so I can update that part. Because like the last I saw, the FBI had it up to 100,000, and then I saw this morning apparently a private donor has put money in now too. So I'm not sure. I'll have to see what they're saying the total is now. But it's a very, very interesting case that somebody would go in and take this lady. I mean, she's 84 years old. I mean, what would they, what was their motive, their thinking, what were they wanting to accomplish by taking an 84-year-old woman? They did say they did find some blood on the doorstep of the house that was checked, and it was confirmed to be Nancy's blood. Well, again, I don't think it was much, just a little bit, but not sure. Hopefully she's still out there and she's still okay. As I talked about earlier too, I did see a thing where they asked Trump about Guthrie because he's been posting about her a little bit on his Truth Social and stuff, and they asked him, what about her case, and he said that if anything should happen to her, that whoever was responsible would be, been held accountable by the fullest extent of the law. And they asked if that would include the death penalty, and he said absolutely. So, whoever has her, they're not doing very well for themselves by continuing to hang on to her, that's for sure. So hopefully they'll do the right thing and bring her home. And hopefully she is still with us. That's the main thing, is hopefully she's still with us.
Yeah, I just think it's been 3 weeks and she doesn't have her meds, and it's the whole thing reeks of weirdness. So like,
it does.
Just makes me like think it's probably not good. I hope she's okay, but to me, it just
me too.
Sounds like a bunch of bad people, whoever's involved.
Right.
Interesting stuff.
And that was our last one for tonight.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody has any case suggestions they want to see us cover and on future, next week's show, future shows, put them out there in the comments and stuff, or private message Kansas Missing, or private message me and let me know, and I'll make sure we get them on there. And again, Rachel, hopefully covering her flyer tonight and keep sharing it on the page and stuff. And I sent the flyer to Annette Lala. She put it up on her page. So, hopefully getting it out there will get her seen somewhere and get her back home. Hopefully. We'll have to see. But everybody, thank you for joining us tonight and hanging with us and going over these cases. I know some are repetitive, and that some of those are at the request of some folks, like with Dana Bruce, with France, some of those, and Demetrius. That one I'm doing on my own because I just feel like circumstances involved. It's just a very bizarre case, being that somebody else had his phone and his inhaler was on a stranger's porch, and it's been over a year, and it's just, to me, it's a troublesome case. So that one's my own doing, but like I say, Dana and friends were requested. And some of the juveniles we cover, I know we do them repetitively. That's because some of them go missing repetitively. And I kind of want to send a message to them that no matter how many times they go missing, I'm going to continue to keep going with the flyers to help get them found. So that's just me. But again, thank you everybody for joining us, and let's say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight so we could go over these cases and try to bring some missing folks home and help get some unsolved homicides solved. And let's pray that these folks that have the information that'll help do that will turn that information loose and call it in and use the Crime Stoppers, whatever they got to do, but get it in there so we can get some of these crimes solved and these people brought home. And I always pray for that every week. But until we see each other next week, stay safe, God bless, stay healthy. Esther and Chris, be careful down there with those wildfires going on. As Esther was telling me earlier today, that those wildfires are getting the brunt of down there. So until we see each other next week, stay safe, God bless, have a good night, and amen.